Hello, welcome to Monday Bank Holiday Extra Reading Sprints. Joined by my lovely friend Alex, who, as always, is wonderful stepping in when I need somebody. And you had cancelled plans, Alex, cancelled D&D, but yeah, you can come on sprints with us. So hooray!
Yes, I feel very lucky. I feel very lucky to be here. This is very much not second best. This is just as good, and I'm very excited to be here and hang out with everyone and do some writing.
Oh, thank you. And I've started thinking about spooky books today, so I was thinking about you. I'm going to do all sorts of spooky content in the run up to Halloween, so I'm going to do some middle grade stuff. And I was like, I need to dig out all my middle grade books.
Yes,
So
how wonderful.
Sorry about the TBR in advance, but you will be on there. I'm going to add like 20 other books that you want to read as well.
I love it. Yes, please do. We can have a chat about all of that. I love some good spooky middle grade recs, so I'm always looking for them. That sounds amazing.
Yay! Is there anything this spooky season that you desperately want to read, like over the next 2 months, that you have had your eye on?
Ooh, so there is the new Jenny McLaughlin. Let me just find the name of the book. So it should be the second Dead Good Detectives one. That's at the top of my list.
How have I not even that? I'm just going to add that to the list right now.
It's called Ghost Rescue, and it looks absolutely adorable and amazing. So I'm very, very excited to get my hands on that one, because I have book one. She sent it to me as like a review copy, so I was very, very fortunate to have that. But I love all of her Land of Raw stuff as well.
Oh, I've heard of those. Yes, I haven't read them.
They are super charming, super cute, just great adventures with a bit of bite, and that's really just what I like. So that's the kind of thing that I'm excited to sink my teeth into and get me in the mood for some Halloween middle grade.
Well, I've got
young at heart.
Yeah, I mean, I've got about 30 books that I want to read, and most of them are YA, obviously, but there's quite a few adult ones on there, so I'm a bit scared. There's some like adult slashers that might more Sharon. Oh, I've just summoned her. She's just popped up in the comments. Sharon, you'll be proud of me. I've just assembled my TBR, and there's proper grown-up scary books on there that I think they might be very murdery. So I'm quite excited. I've just done my TBR video, so that'll be going up soon. But yeah, I just feel like it's Halloween now because I've decided what I'm reading in September. So
yep.
I like looking at the sun and feeling a bit betrayed, to be honest. It needs to just sort itself out and become autumn. Sorry, anybody who's enjoying the sunshine. It's fine. I don't mind it, but I prefer autumn.
I think it is feeling a little bit autumnal. I mean, I think it's been colder these past couple of days where we are in Staffordshire. So, I feel like the weather is making me feel a little bit more autumny, but I don't know whether anyone would agree with me. I keep hearing rumors that we're going to have like a really, really scorching September, and I do not want that, you guys.
No.
I don't want that.
I need jumper weather. Like all my jumpers and my cardigans like calling to me now at this point. It's feeling time. I know it's still
I'm ready to wrap up Cozy too. I feel that.
Let's see what the people in the comments saying. I'm sure that they are all in agreement with us. I had a lovely weekend, thank you. I did family stuff. I went to a wildlife park today. Saw some hyenas really up close for the first time ever. That was really cool. I've never seen hyenas like that. Saw a tiger quite close. Saw a tiger do a poo, which my child found hilarious. He was like the highlight of his day, I think. What else did we do? I can't really remember much else. Family stuff in wildlife park. That was about it, I think. Hi, Amelia. We are good. Excited about Halloween. Like hoping summer's nearly over. All those cheery feelings today. Hi, Raymond. Everybody's feeling happy in the chat tonight. Ooh, Creech Cross, a paranormal thriller by Sarah England. Very witchy. That sounds good. Yes, I'm like 90%. I was saying in my TBR video that I'm excited about reading spooky books, and I was like, is it really that different though than the rest of the year when I'm reading spooky books? But
maybe it hits different, slightly different at this time of year, when it's seasonally appropriate.
Yeah, and I think Oh, sorry, we just skipped and like overtook each other then, I think. Yeah, I think seasonally appropriate is right. Like the blankets and the hot chocolate and the cozy jumpers and stuff.
Yeah.
I think it's a vibe thing, isn't it? As much as
all
anything.
the Halloween girlies activate, don't they, at this time of year? And that's what I was gonna say. You know, the vibes are different, I guess.
Yes. This is where I get jealous of all your clothes again when I see you again on school events. I'm like, oh, I want that spooky jumper. I want that spooky jumper. Your spooky jumper cardigan is strong, Alex, definitely.
What can I say? You know, you have to dress for the job you want, and the job that I wanted was, you know, prancing around like a Halloween nightmare at all times of year. So
you do it admirably, Alex.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I am very fashionable, especially today. I'm wearing my adventure time pajamas. I have BMO on my little top. I know. So
cute.
What can
I'm wearing, and I realised I wore it today for a trip to Wildlife Park with children.
Oh!
I did put it on without even thinking. Then was like, maybe the other children might not like it. Mine didn't bat an eyelid, obviously. But yeah, I haven't read Only a Monster. How fantasy is it, Amelia? I feel like you can tell me the truth here. Like, will I be able to cope, or is it going to melt my brain with all the fantasy backstory? That's what I need to know. Yeah, September is definitely murdery. Most of the things are, I've got about 5 slashes on my TBR for September. I just couldn't leave them on my shelf any longer. They're all set in places like, you know, the stupid place that teenagers go in books, like remote theme park, remote, like, I think one's like an abandoned, they float into an abandoned water park and then decide that they're going to just explore it because that's what you do, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Yes. What could possibly go wrong?
I know. I love that in slashes when you just see it coming a mile off, don't you? I'm glad you see Raymond agrees with us. Autumnal nip in the air. That's what we want.
I think so. I've detected it.
It's not melting. Hi. Ooh, Adrian Young. I feel like that name rings a bell. I'm sure I've read some of her books before. I'm really bad at, do you think I'd, being an author, remember names of books and authors, but I'm so bad at it. Yeah, I agree. I keep getting really excited every time I go in TK Maxx. I have to buy something else. I can't stop. Ooh, Haunted Nights. That sounds fun. That's the kind of thing we want. There's a really good book on my TBR called something like, oh gosh, I'm terrible. Like Haunting Tales, Ghostly Tales for Haunting Nights, or Haunting Tales for Ghostly Nights. It's got Kira Millward Hargrave's got a story in it, and it's all like award-winning adult authors, I think. I'm hoping to read that at some point. Awesome. Not having put it on her TBR. Whoops. Not over fantasy-ish. People having powers. I can go with that. Time travel also. I like. Yes. I think we're just in agreement, aren't we? Everybody in this chat knows. It's like it's time to be Halloween now. So we are going to do the usual. If you've been here before, and if you haven't, I'll just give you the quick rundown. We are going to do 40 minutes. Have a chat, 40 minutes, become incoherent. Me anyway. Alex is generally fine. Alex just goes yawny. I just go really incoherent by the end.
I was about to say that was a very kind review of my staying power there, Amy, but I'm going to do really well. I've tried not to yawn already.
Oh no, I've brought it on. I can feel one brewing. Sorry.
That was just a little one.
It's like when when people draw attention to something and then you just can't, like if somebody says, oh, your hair looks nice today, and you're like this all the time. Like as soon as somebody says yawn, you have to yawn, don't you? I think it's the law.
Yes.
Yeah.
Let's not say the Y word.
Yeah, I know. We can hold it together. I am trying to finish writing Mina and the Cult this week. I feel like I've been saying this for a while, but I really need to, because I said August to my editor, August, and it's not August for much longer. So
You've been working hard.
Yeah, I'm on the climactic. I'm just about to write the really difficult climactic scene where everything goes to crap and everybody like starts revealing stuff left, right, and center, and it's going to be really difficult. So I'm like excited, but also dreading it.
I believe in you.
Thank you. Remembering first drafts are rubbish. First drafts are rubbish. It's fine. Like I just wrote a whole scene and realized I'd missed 2 really important characters out of it. Like this stuff happens to me all the time.
Well, I mean, the thing is though, once you've fixed it, you'll go back and you'll be like, why was I worrying?
Yeah.
You know, all that pain, it'll be done in a couple of hours, and you'll be like, yep, big pat on the back.
I do think I was saying to Kev, been doing this a while now, and I feel like drafting is harder. Like I go back and forth, but I think I find drafting harder than editing. Like I quite like getting stuck into a meaty edit because I know that it's got an ending. I'm a bit nervous at the minute that it doesn't have an ending, so it could just keep going on and on if I'm not careful. It's about the right length though. I think I'm at 80 something thousand words, and it needs to be mid-90s, I think. So I'm kind of heading in the right
On
direction.
track.
I always just get worried that I'm going to overshoot massively. I know that you've just been there recently, haven't you? And
Yeah, I always overshoot. It always happens. I'm just way too chatty is the problem. So, the thing is, such a lot, you will manage to cut in the structure editing. Again, when it's line edited, so much will be tightened. So, you can't let that kind of get in the way of your
yeah,
creativity in your first
yeah,
draft. That's what your editing is for afterwards, for tightening it up. So I always
I'm going
just
to
kind of
start
let it
that.
all hang out in my first draft.
That's what I need to do. So what are you working on? Because you've just got your edits done.
Yeah. So my edits for have gone. That has gone back to my lovely editor, and her out of office comes off tomorrow, I think. So she should receive
Well
those
done.
tomorrow. So that is good. So for today, before I kind of jump back with Mina, I've got Mina here. Before I jump back into Rules for Vampires mode for a little bit more fun, working on a hypothetical book 3, I think I'm going to do some planning for Waterdeep Dragon Heist, which is my D&D. It's the official D&D module that I'm running from Wizards of the Coast. So I'm going to be doing some taverns today, which is very
Sounds
exciting.
interesting.
So I have an interactive map that someone's made for the city of Waterdeep in Dungeons and Dragons, and basically I am going through and clicking on all of these little buildings and then doing them all a little description and putting like a little fantasy person in them, so that when the party go along, they can be like, yes, I will spend so many gold pieces and I will have a beverage at this tavern.
That sounds lovely. I
That's the
like
plan.
that. That sounds quite a
Thank
cozy
you.
evening writing tavern descriptions. I think that
Yeah.
sounds less murdery than what I'm going to do. I'm just going to murder
Well, I mean,
lots
you
of
say that.
creatures.
There has been a bit of murder so far, but just like a little bit of casual murder.
Yeah, yeah. It's generally mild murder in our books, isn't it? We're not going to go too far into it with YA. I mean, some YA really goes there. I think I try and pull a few punches. I have just written something really gross though, and I said to Kev, like, I might have to run this past my publisher. Like, is this too much? Because normally, like, my editor is the one who's trusted, and my publisher's like, yeah, it'll be fine. I think I maybe just need to send her a quick email and say, like, is this okay? I did this.
Oh, well, I mean, that's what your editor's for, isn't it? I've
Yeah,
already said that when it comes to middle grade, that line is so tricky. I mean, technically, some really, really horrible things happen in both of my books, but they tend to be off page, like off screen, if that makes sense.
yeah. This was
And
on
it's always
screen.
the grown-ups as well.
Yeah.
Nothing really, really terrible happens to children. It's mostly grown-ups.
Yeah, and this is like bad character having to show how bad he is by doing a bad thing, if you know what I mean. So it's not like a main character doing anything awful. It's a
Hmm.
baddie doing a bad
It's
thing.
the baddie. Baddie's got a baddie.
Yeah, no, he can't be too nice, can he?
Hmm.
So one of the baddies, I should say. I'm not revealing gender of my final villain. There's so many villains in this one. I'm like, you can take your pick. I've not spoiled anything for anybody. I'm just marking where we're up to in the comment. A few have popped up. I'm going to jump straight to the sprint and I will catch up with those afterwards. So we will see you in 40
Yep.
minutes.
See you on the other side.
Bye.
Bye.
Hello.
That made me jump.
Sorry, I noticed
It's
it.
all right.
So it made me jump.
Just finish
Yeah,
up.
I was vaguely organised, but I always end up frantically trying to write down the last thing that I thought of. So it still kind of gets me anyway. How did you get on in that sprint? How did you describe lots of taverns?
Yes, so we've got a grocer and a couple of taverns set up for Waterdeep Southern Ward. So isn't that so exciting, you guys? I know that means absolutely diddly squat to you, Amy, but that's what I've done.
I don't know. I do like the idea of it. I just feel like it would consume my whole identity, and at the moment, I don't have much identity left to be
That's all
consumed.
right.
So.
Don't you worry. It is most definitely a hobby that can take over a lot of your life. But then I do like, being a player and just rolling up on the day with my character sheet. Whereas when you are sat in the DM's chair, you've got to do all the planning, and that is the difficult part. Most definitely.
Difficult
How
but
about you?
fun and rewarding. It's like reading a book versus writing a book, is it? Like it's really fun to read it, but to have written it and like shaped it all, and when you
Yes.
execute it well, it feels great, doesn't it?
Yeah. I mean, you can pick up a book and jump into a story in the same way as, if you're a player in a D&D campaign, you've probably had to plan out your character and, maybe have a think about your character's arc and what kind of thing you want to do, but you are largely, there in the moment. So this game that I was meant to be playing today, I haven't looked at my character sheet for this particular character in months and months because we've taken a little break. But I can just step back into it. Whereas for the game that I'm running, I'm making up I'm writing about the halfling, behind the counter in this particular tavern and what he looks like and what's going on and this, that, and the other. So there's a lot more planning.
Oh, you're the perfect person to do it, though. I think having an author as the dungeon master.
Yes,
Is that what
that's
DM
the
is?
one.
Yeah, I'm learning. I was like, oh God, what's DM stand for? I had a moment of panic that I was going to say something really embarrassing.
No, Amy, no. You're perfect. I think sometimes, when you are chatting with your friends about like their interests and things, there can be like a pressure to sort of remember stuff and know stuff. And I think it's important to be mindful that people have their own lives and their own things going on. So I'd never turn my nose up at people not knowing. I think that's absolutely fine.
I think Dungeons and Dragons has like overlap in my head because I've read like some spicy adult books. There's like some of the terminology crosses over, so I have to be really careful that like
Oh my
I don't start
goodness.
saying dodgy things. Like, yeah, I'm not even going to go there. But yeah, I haven't read that many books like that, but I've read enough that like it's always in the back of my mind when I'm saying it that I don't want to say something rude.
I see. Well, just so you know, we don't wear leathers unless it's a special occasion.
We wouldn't know if you were, to be fair. If you're playing it virtually, like you could wear anything you like for.
I could. I mean, we do play on camera because what I've been finding is even though I feel a little bit shy, it helps to be able to emote like with your face, So sometimes I do a little bit of acting. Can like glare at someone through the camera.
I need to watch it at some point. I think it'd be really fun. And then yeah, eventually I'm gonna have a try, but when I've got
Yes.
some
When you
time.
do, come with me. Come with Lucas Maxwell. That'd be
Oh
really
well,
good fun.
you're both very kind, gentle people, so I feel like he'd be nice to me. Maybe not in the context of the game. Like
He
I feel like
would.
you'd eviscerate me
He
if needed.
would. He's so lovely, and he would look after you, and it would all be absolutely fine. And if you came along with our little gang of authors, Grania O'Brien, Alex Dunn, they are nuts, and extremely Irish. Everything just becomes extremely Irish, and it's very welcoming and wholesome. So I feel like you'd fit right in with our little gang if you ever wanted to give it a go.
Thanks. I will. Maybe in like six. I said like September, didn't I? I think it's more likely next September. Full-time school time. Everybody when little boy goes to school.
Yeah. You've got a very full life and a lot of exciting things going on right now. So,
I have. Thanks.
But lots of exciting things to come as well.
Yes, exactly. Let's see what exciting the people in the comments are doing. Oh,
Yes.
Spells for Forgetting. That's the Adrian Young book I was thinking of. I haven't actually read it, but I think I may own it. Is it Adrian Young? Yes. Yeah, that is the story of my whole life. The beautiful editions that I buy of things do tend to live in their plastic wrappers. I've got some V. Schwab ones that are still very shinily wrapped up. I quite often read them on Kindle, so I buy the beautiful editions, read the ebooks so that I don't have to break the spines and damage the pretty books. I feel like that defeats the object of the pretty books in a way, but I've forgotten what Amelia said you were reading. Help, Amelia, what were you reading? Oh yeah, the villains one that I've forgotten the name of. Was it that one?
The fantasy-ish.
Oh, Only a Monster, and then the sequel, Never a Hero. Yep, got it. So I had to scroll back through the comments to figure out what we're doing. Rick's enjoying the new book by that same author that we were talking about. Sorry, I'm so bad with this, aren't I? Adrian Young. Thank you. I'm doing my best to make it succinct though, Sharon, because some of the rambling I'm doing at the minute, like literally I'm still on pre-scene. I really want to get to scene. I don't know whether you find this, Alex, but writing always takes longer than I remember. And I'm like, all the in-between stuff that's going to take 10 seconds to read takes 10 minutes to write or an hour to write.
It does. It's so hard. You know, I would very much just like to teleport everybody around. And then there was a fight.
I really want to just do that, but they've got to like do annoying things like get weapons and like rally the other people to go along with them.
Yes, yeah,
So
yeah.
they're still doing that. Hopefully there's gonna be some actual fighting soon. Hello.
Hello.
Oh my goodness. Make a banana cake with oats and chocolate.
Oh my God. That sounds amazing.
That sounds delicious. It sounds like you have the right ingredients there, like, you know.
In the freezer.
So is that to bind it instead of like in the absence of eggs? Will that make it stay together maybe? Like a yummy frozen pudding?
That sounds really good. I really, really like banana bread and banana cake. That sounds amazing.
Me too. Ooh, I haven't read
Ooh.
I have one Tessa Bailey book, My Killer Vacation, but I haven't read it. So I don't know much about Tessa Bailey. I know she writes romantic stuff. Oh, thank you for coming, Sabrina. I'm glad. They really help us too. Like I do actually need to be reading in one at some point, but they're very good for writing at the minute. Hello. Ooh, I haven't even heard of that one. How is there a Neil Gaiman book I've not heard of? I haven't read all of them, but I feel like I should have heard of them all. That's a good title. Is that a recent one? I don't know. Hi, Catherine. Interesting. Interesting. I suppose that depends what you're writing about for your assessment, but I hope it's interesting and hope it's going well. Never a Hero. That was the one, I think. Thank you, Raymond, that I was trying to remember the name of. Haunting. Oh, I don't know. I do not know if I've seen that. Let's see. So I think it's time for another sprint. Oh, a collection of short stories. That sounds so cool.
Ooh.
I don't think I've read any Neil Gaiman short stories. I'm going to put that on the tabs as well. Thank you for that. I feel like if I write trigger warnings, that's going to bring up like the wrong thing though. So I'm going to write trigger warnings, Neil Gaiman, so I remember. Oh, thank you. I love adding stuff to my list, especially anthologies. I'm having a bit of
I love a new tab to do some damage to my bank account. Thank you.
You've got me onto that, Alex. It's a really good way of remembering, isn't it? Because people say stuff during the sprint, and I just nod my head and go, "I want that," and then I forget.
I always get a bit of an education during these sprints. It's good to see what people are really into.
Baby librarian in the house.
Alex, wow.
How long were you a school librarian for?
So I was a school librarian for 6 years. Yeah, gosh, as well as being a teaching assistant at the same time. So that kind of made up my full-time hours. But gosh, I mean, to actually do archive studies and to become like a proper librarian, that's amazing. I'll always remember when I was a teaching assistant in a previous school and trying to sort of sidestep into the role as like a supplementary thing. I remember that the lady who got the job was very much like, don't feel bad about not getting it, Alex, because I've trained my entire life for this. And I was like, oh, okay. You know, and then when I became a librarian, it was very much like, you know, just try to get as many books onto these kids as possible, and occasionally, like, giving someone a wet paper towel when they scrape their knee, and that was it.
That sounds like being a teacher as well. That's the extent of the medical knowledge. Oh, so you're not new to it. You're 8 years in. Amazing.
That's amazing. That is amazing. I mean, there's loads to it, isn't there? Like, I was looking into it, and this was before I became an author, and it is actually like a really kind of complex sort of avenue to pursue, really. I think I was kind of into it because I was thinking, oh, I can be a cute librarian, and actually it's like, no, it's actually very hard work.
It's really academic, and there's lots of kind of like, I had a friend, a friend who's doing it, so I'm not sure at what level, but she's had to do all kinds of like projects within the library and set up different programs and stuff like that. Like do the kind of community side of it as well as the
Yes. Oh, yeah. I mean, for a public library, you're going to have all of that, aren't you? It's kind of like how schools are like a little microcosm, aren't they, of society, and your library kind of becomes the heart of the school. Whereas for your wider community and kind of all the vulnerable folks, it'll be a public library, won't it? So, important job.
Yes, definitely. I think that I had a friend who did work experience in the library, and she was totally expecting that, like, to read books all day, and then she realised that it was actually really hard graft, and was like, oh, and that was at the level she was at as well.
I'd love to go back then.
Yeah, it's always been something I've been interested in, but I feel like I've kind of gone down the education route now, so that's the route that, as my other thing that I do as well as being an author, it's probably going to be linked to education because that's something else I'm into. But yeah, librarianship, is that the right word? And publishing, they're the other kind of careers that I'd have been interested in. Hello, don't worry.
Ashlyn, hello. You're right.
Ashley's here in the comments. Yeah, it's fine. You can come. These are very chilled. You can come and go as you please. Be on screen, not be on screen. We are relaxed here, aren't we? So
we are.
Let's do another sprint and catch up at the other side. So, are you continuing D&D, or are you diving into vampires this time, Alex?
I am going to carry on. I'm going to carry on in the vein that I'm in, and yeah, we'll get some more nerdy stuff done, and then it'll make all the nerds happy when we next play. Let's do it. How about you?
Well, I'm going to try and get to the actual murdery scene now. Like, they're all ready for it, so I'm going to do it now. Like, so if you see this face, it's because it's really serious stuff now.
Okay.
Like, I've got to the life and death bit of the book. Yeah.
Okay. So, I'm rooting for you. You can do it.
Thanks.
I believe in you, Amy. I believe in you. You can do it.
Okay. Thank you. In 40 minutes, we'll find out if I could do it. So I'll see you on the other side. Bye.
Bye, everyone. Good luck.
Hello. Was not ready that time. A little bit.
Hello, hello.
Too busy writing, not busy thinking about
Yes,
cat's meowing. That was good. I'm like in the scene now. I think I know what's. I've like written a bit of it and just plotted out what's going to happen in it. I think so. Feeling
very
a
good.
bit happier. I'm so
Sounds like
close
good
to the end.
progress.
Thank you. I'm just like I think I've got about 3 main scenes before the end now, maybe 4. So I'm like at that point where I can smell it. I just wish I had like 5 solid days to write it and not like snatched minutes. But it is what it is at the moment. I've just got to take the
Yeah,
time I have got.
you work with what you have, don't you?
Yeah.
I know that very well. Although, you know, I understand equally that I am in a very, very privileged position to be, you know, full-time author. There's not many people who can say that.
You are
So
lucky, but
you
you
know,
deserve it, Alex. I don't hold it against you. We're all kind of we're in the positions we're in, aren't we? We just make the most of what we have. And
it's how full your life is, I think. I think you know what people I think what people sometimes forget is, you know, when you don't have children, and when you've built your life around having no money anyway, being a teaching assistant and a school librarian, you know, writing for a living actually represented a big promotion for me. Hence, you know, being able to do what I do. But if I were to, you know, pop out a kid tomorrow, then that might, you know, represent a bit of a change in lifestyle, I guess.
yeah, I don't think I realised, to be honest. I knew I'd like really prepared myself and read everything and like, mentally thought this is going to be a big change, but you don't realise how big it's going to be. But it's great as well. And I wouldn't change it. So
Of
it's just,
course not. Of course not. And, you know,
it's just the writing is squeezed. That's all that's happened. It's like
yeah.
little bits here and there. How about you? How did the D&D writing go?
Yes, I've done a little bit more. You know, it's just very, you know, just over and over and over. But I know for a fact that if I don't like try and populate the city as much as possible, then what will happen is they'll choose something on the map that I don't have. 100% that is what will happen. I mean, that may happen anyway, and in which case I will just flub it as best as I can. So yeah, I'm just chipping away at it. I did a bit of crochet as well, just to try and mix things up a bit for my brain.
Nice. But if you, I think if you've populated the world as much as you can, though, it's like with a novel, isn't it? You can't describe every little thing, but if you've done enough of the work, it'll make it easy for you if you do have to kind of ad lib a bit, and it'll make it easy for them to
Yes,
fill the gaps in if most of it feels rich and well populated, I
absolutely.
guess.
Oh
It doesn't
yes,
matter.
yeah, yeah. I think you've hit the nail on the head there, and I feel like I am getting a little bit better at improvising as I go on. You know, I definitely am not like a very quick thinking person, like at all. But I think it's something that I'm leaning into a little bit more now. So we'll see.
Yeah, I
We'll
think
see
being
how
a
we go.
teacher served me well in that regard because I do tend to be quite good at BSing because you kind of have to as a teacher. Like you have to think on your feet. I mean, I'm sure being a librarian is the same, but like kids can ask you stuff in front of 35 other kids and you've just got to be able to give a really reasoned, sensible answer, even though sometimes you want to lay on the floor and laugh or scream or
Yes,
so
or run
yeah.
away.
Yeah, 10 years
Yeah,
of that, I felt like training for stand up and life and
yeah.
everything in between. Um,
I
Let's see what
bet.
the people in the comments are saying. Yeah, it's definitely an education, being in education.
Oh
Um,
wow. Yes. Yeah. That sounds very, very cool. I will definitely have to look her up. Actually, that sounds pretty cool, Andreas.
yes, I mean that's pretty much what children are—a bundle of joy that you sometimes just need a little break from, which is what bedtimes come in.
Oh,
I
Sharon. I tell
think,
you what. Can you imagine if Sharon was your stepmom,
yeah,
Amy? Instant spooky stepmom.
yeah.
I feel like that's
Brilliant.
amazing. I love my stepmom, by the way. I have a stepmom and a stepdad, and absolutely, absolutely love them to bits. I think that's lovely. Very good.
One of my closest friends at work is a stepmom in a similar situation, married into a family, married a husband who already had several children. And she's like, she gets the best of both worlds, that she kind of is like being a grandparent almost, that you kind of get to do a lot of the really fun stuff.
And then can hand them back.
Yeah. But then,
Oh.
but I suppose it's more of the parenting, isn't it, even than grandparents?
Yeah, that's lovely.
Oh, excellent. Well done. Oh gosh,
Very
that's the
good.
thing, isn't it, with doing all that work and then having to go to work. I feel you, Catherine. That's why I'm doing all the work tonight and then straight into the day job tomorrow. Yes, I think Sharon, like, it's got to be the ultimate stepmom there. Yes.
Oh, please tell me everything. What are you playing? What are your classes? Yeah, I am not writing a campaign. I am running Waterdeep Dragon Heist. But because of the kind of the nature of the city and everything, I'm having to do a lot of supplementary writing in order to keep up with it, really. That's so cool, though. I really love running into more D&D nerds on stream.
Yay. I think there's got
Tell
to
me
be cross,
everything.
because the more we talk about it, it's just a different way of experiencing stories, isn't it? Like, I think readers quite often are gamers or are comic book fans or are movie fans because we are people who love being immersed in stories.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Bunch of nerds.
Oh, yeah, that sounds like they did all right for themselves, Sharon.
Oh,
Good
Sharon,
stuff.
lovely.
And being, the being spooky definitely helps. I'd like to think that it is preparing my son for life, being a spooky mum. It's like, what's that spooky thing, mummy? Let me tell you. He knows all about what skulls are and skeletons and stuff. It's all fine. He knows. I just imagine him going to nursery sometimes and thinking like, I have a skeleton inside me, everybody.
I was just thinking that.
It's going to go really well, isn't it? Or really badly. I'm not sure. Let's hope that it's the really well side of things.
I'm sure it will be hilarious no matter what.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I do sometimes think his nursery teachers are going to love him, but it's going to give him a run for their money, I think. Lots of thinking when you've got a kid like, I'm sure I was that kid at school. My mum used to say that some of my teachers were like, wow, she's great, but she's a lot. I think that's what I'm handing over as well. But yeah, all will be well, I'm sure. I feel the rambling happening, so it's good that we have 30 minutes for the last sprint.
Yeah, let's
I
do
am
it.
going to wrap up what I'm doing and then watch a bit of TV because I'm starting to feel a bit melty-brained. So I think I'm going to watch a bit of Justified after I've finished the bit I'm on. I was just in the middle of plotting out something, so I'm going to do that. Email it to myself because back up your work, everybody. That's my number one author thing. If I've learned anything over the past few years,
Me too.
back up really regularly. Oh gosh, I'm terrified of losing anything.
Email it to myself.
Yeah, that's mine as well. So I'm going to go and do my emailing, do a few more bits. Are you D&Ding until the end with a bit of crochet thrown in as well?
Yep, that's me.
Awesome. Okay, right. Let's pop the kitty on. We're just like a dance at this point. Like, we know our role in this little routine, don't we?
Yeah.
I'm
You're gonna do a big yawn and then do some more, right?
Yep. Excellent. Let's do it. I'm sure there'll be plenty of yawning on this end as well. Let's see you all in half an hour. Hello. And that is it. Last sprint. It says my internet's slow, so I'm just going to turn the internet off my phone. 1 second. That should help, hopefully. I think it's my phone causing mischief as usual. So, how did the last sprint go, Alex, for you?
Yeah, so I've finished the little neighborhood that I was working on, which is good. So I've made a start on the next one up. And yeah, I've still got a lot to go, but I'm just going to keep chipping away at it. Although from tomorrow, I'll be back in like proper work mode and I'll be writing vampires. So
Yay.
we'll see. I'll just keep, as I go. How about you? How'd you get on?
Yeah, I finished the little, I kind of did some plotting of what I want to write tomorrow, and it feels manageable to get it written this week, but it could be a little bit of a push. And I watched a bit of TV. Thank you. I hope so.
It'll be all right. It'll all come all right.
It will. It will. And I did a bit of not online shopping, but like pre-online shopping, looking at some spooky clothes because all the nice like Nightmare Before Christmas things are coming back in shops and tempting me with their like, comfy plaid shirts and stuff like that with Jack Skellington on. I'm just
Yes.
such an easy mark. Instagram does it to me all the time. It's like, look at this like turquoise checked shirt with Jack Skellington on the pocket. I'm like, oh, stop it, Instagram. Like they really like have my measure on all of my social media. So I didn't buy anything, but I've started looking at fun spooky clothes, which I always get excited about this time of year. Oh dear.
Well, I
mean, Ashlyn, but I wouldn't be surprised at this point. Yeah, you need to remember that one. That's probably going to go in some middle grade book at some point. Yeah, your kids know, Ashlyn, like they understand. Ooh, look.
Ooh,
I don't know what
very exciting. Okay, so I've never heard of this Tales of the Valiant, but it's cool that you're playing a rogue. One of the other authors who I play D&D with for the podcast, it's called You Should Have Been a Meat Shield. And that's the one with Lucas Maxwell, but we've got a rogue in our party as well. She's very nippy. I'm a wizard.
Oh, I usually pick rogue.
Oh, yes. Fellow wizards. Yes, excellent.
Is vampire a class, or does vampire fall within one of the other ones?
I've never played a vampire. I think it is possible to play as a vampire, but I think usually it would be like within a campaign where that sort of fits, something like, Curse of Strahd or something like that. Although Strahd himself is a vampire, so I don't know kind of how that would play. Although you can have like an evil run where you like kill everything. But I've never made an evil character.
Okay. Yeah, I
push only ever like neutral.
Like there are some computer games like Fable where you can be really bad and like it changes the character and makes them visibly evil, whatever that means. And Red Dead Redemption, you can do the same. Like you can play it nicely and like not hurt anybody, and you kind of watch your good scale sliding up, or you can play it and like, you can take everyone alive, or you can just like lay waste to the place. And I always want to be
really
good.
Bad though. Yes, yeah. I'm the same.
Good. And then when you accidentally like your good scale slides, you're like, no. So I don't think I could be an evil character. I think it's probably not. I sometimes write them, but I regularly write them actually, but I don't inhabit them for any longer than that. I don't think.
This is the problem. You do end up kind of like, becoming quite invested in your character's journey, and I think, to play an evil character, I don't know. I'm not sure. And also, usually in D&D, if your character is evil, the rest of the party really needs to be evil, because if you have evil and good characters, it kind of breaks the game. I'm sure it can be done, but typically it means that like, your motivations are just too different, and the party just sort of disintegrates. So
I get
maybe
that.
one day we can be vampires together. We'll be good vampires though.
Yeah, please, can we? That sounds awesome. This Vicious Grace, that sounds good. Oh yes, that is just like the best. I need to go through my wardrobe and like bring all the spooky stuff into the right place again, because it's just a mess. Oh, thanks, Sharon. I have got to go as well. I'm getting up in the 60s tomorrow.
Good night.
I need to look at Asda. I tend to get them from EMP, which is really annoying because they're really expensive. So I can only get like one thing at a time, and I want all of them. Oh, nice. Thank you for joining us. It's been nice to see some new faces tonight.
Yeah, it was lovely chatting with you.
D&D friends.
Yeah. Hopefully it would be really cool to hear about all of your adventures next time.
Yes, definitely. Please let us know how you're getting on in the comments. People that want to chat D&D, books, all of the things with us, we love hearing it. Thank you, Alex, as always, for coming on. I think it's time to wrap this up because it's bedtime for me. I've got to go up in 8 hours. So we'll hopefully see you all on Thursday. I'll be doing sprints. I'm not sure about next Monday, but certainly find me on Thursdays, and then hopefully I'll be around a little bit more. I was saying to Alex, I'm going to try and do some more sprints from September. So watch this space, and hopefully I'll see some of you on Thursday. Bye, everyone.
Take care. Bye-bye.